Hey all. Today I'm going to be talking about how to learn a fiddle tune. I was at a jam last week and somebody played this tune. It's called Tippin' Back the Corn. I put sheet music in the comments so that you can look it up for yourself. And I've been trying to learn it. I could sort of play it at the jam. I got, maybe 60-70% of it, the iconic bits, but I didn't get all of it. So I want to try to get it all into my muscle memory so that I don't have to rely on sheet music. And by the way, today's lesson is about how to learn from sheet music. Two basic ways to learn a tune or a song is using dots or tab, or you can learn by ear. That's another lesson, and I'll talk about that another time. You can take a recording. You can either do it on the computer or however you listen to music, or you can literally go to a jam and play it over and over and pick it up out of the ether. I've done all of these methods. Today's is about learning from sheet music. I'll play the tune just once through the A part and once through the B part and start talking about my process. It's probably different for other folks, but almost every case, how you learn a fiddle tune will hit many of these steps. Here's the tune. It's by Jordan Wankoff. It's a relatively recent tune. I don't know when it was written, but he lives in Evanston, Illinois. B part. Now that's only once through each part. And so the first lesson really, or the first step in the process is to understand fiddle tune structure. A fiddle tune, 90 to 95% of the time, is going to be two parts, an A part and a B part. And the A part is 8 measures repeated for a total of 16 measures. And then the B part twice through for a total of another 16 measures. And that gives you 32 bars in a fiddle tune. That's called a square fiddle tune because it matches up with a square dance. That's about how many measures it takes to run through one full motion of the dance. So the tune, 32 bars, and the square dance, 32 bars, should match up. So learning the structure of a fiddle tune is really important in learning it. Start with the structure of 8 repeated 32 bars. But then after that, within the fiddle tune, there's structure. It's typically a call and response or a question and answer structure. Each question or call is about 2 measures. Each answer or response is about 2 measures. And that gives you something to fall back on because you don't have to learn 8 special, unique measures. And I'll show you what that means. This tune's a little different because it's modern. The call to start out with is response. Now here's the call again, but it's slightly different. Response is different. Now, when a tune, usually an older tune or more traditional tune, follows the rigid pattern, it sounds something like this. This is a tune called the Reel de Saint Antoine. It's a Canadian fiddle tune. Here's the call again. It's exactly the same. So those more traditional tunes more often fit that pattern of call, response, the exact same call again, which means that if you learn 2 measures, you've really learned 4, and then a slightly different response. So knowing the structure helps you learn because you can break it down into bite-sized chunks. Sometimes a fiddle tune will have a 1-measure call and a 1-measure response. You look for those differences to set it apart and help you learning. Learning where the duplicate notes or the duplicate measures are can really speed up the process of learning. So, the next step that I do is to focus on the easy stuff, the iconic lick. So the lick that grabbed my ear is that opening one. That just grabs my attention. So I learned that first. It's very simple. It's all quarter notes. You'll see it on the sheet music. That's cool. And in the B part, it's the same. And then it repeats that just up one octave. So really, if you learn it, the first low part, you really learn the same notes. You just got to find where it is high. So that's half the B part done. And you really only have to learn 2 measures and then go up 1 octave and play the same 2 measures again higher. So I focus on those easy stuff, those easy things. And that B part. Those are the things that grab my ear, and so I'll start with that. That's the low-hanging fruit. The next step then is to start breaking down the hard stuff. And the hard stuff is more often going to be the responses to the call, as well as the B part overall. B parts of fiddle tunes overall tend to be a little more challenging for whatever reason. That's what I've experienced. Maybe it's different for you. So when I come upon a harder lick or something that's a little bit more notey or difficult to measure, I use the 3 times rule. Play it with the sheet music 3 times perfectly before you try to move on. That 3 times rule has a tendency to make things stick in your memory. So for me, the first response in the A part was a little more difficult. So I'll play that, just those 2 measures, or measure and a half, 3 times. And that helps it get seated into my head memory, which is the first step in the process of getting into your muscle memory. You want to be able to play this without thinking, without seeing the notes streaming across your eyelids. You want to just be able to let your hands go and play it. In order to do that, you got to break this down. You got to play each part individually a lot, and then you got to keep playing the whole thing a whole lot of times. So if you're struggling with any of the parts, another thing that can help is to follow where it goes up and where it goes down. It's another bit of the structural aspect of a fiddle tune. So let's take a look. We got start with that opening thing that goes down. Down, up, down, up, down, up. I can't talk and play at the same time. But follow where the notes go up or down or stay the same, because that helps to provide a little bit more structure to a tune as well. There's another aspect, rhythm. Where's the beat? Now, this is a 4/4 fiddle tune. You will, if you play Irish, have to play jigs, slip jigs, all kinds of different structures. In old-time U.S., you don't have quite as many different kinds of tunes, but each tune will have some rhythmic elements. For example, this tune has some held or tied notes. And so we start with 4 quarter notes, but then you have an 8th note into a quarter note. So that's a little bit of a rhythmic hit. And then you get to the second line, the start of the second line in the A part. Quarter note, 8th note, quarter note to a dotted quarter note. So watch for those places where rhythm is held or sped up or tied, and that can help you remember what the notes are. Knowing the structure and the rhythmic elements combined with knowing the notes makes it, it's like a mnemonic. Whenever you have 2 things together, it can help plant that deeper into your muscle memory. I also have a tendency to ignore endings and pickup notes, and that's a mistake. So I now pay special attention to how you end a part and go back to either the same part, or how you end, for example, the A part and smooth your way into the B part. So look for those notes The pickup notes to the A part are the same at the end. So it ends, the first ending of this tune has the same exact pickup notes when you go back and repeat the A part. But notice, when you finish the A part for the second time, there are different pickup notes. Those that gets you into the B part. Those are your on-ramps. Know your on-ramps. Those help get you into the next part, the transitions. If you don't nail your transitions, you're already behind half a measure, and it can be very difficult to catch up. All right. Remember also, perfection is not required. You can go and search for a video of Jordan Wankoff playing Tipping Back the Corn, and you will notice that he's not playing it note for note the way he wrote it himself. So there's always room to improvise. There's always room to change some notes. As long as you get the basic structure, the basic iconic licks of the tune in the right place, you're good. All right, my next step is then to play the whole tune as many times as I can stand it. I keep the sheet music up. I just read the sheet music. And on and on and on. Then the next step that I will do is to record it. Get your phone out. Have whatever device you use to record yourself playing, use it. Don't play it fast. Just play it nice and slow. But that process for me helps to nail something down that I can use to build off of, right? I will then listen to it and play against the recording, and then I will look at the sheet music and notice have I made mistakes? Am I off? Am I wrong? Have I missed a note? Am I not playing it the way it was written? And then I can correct myself. Then I will put the sheet music away and see how far I can get without the sheet music. And that's always an important step. If you rely on the sheet music all the time and never put the sheet music away, then you have learned how to play the tune only from the sheet music. You haven't learned the tune. You've learned that you need that tool out. So remember to ditch that sheet music frequently and then go back and check your work. Going back and checking your work is a huge step. I have learned and memorized fiddle tunes before, and I will go back and check the sheet music a year later and realize I've learned something wrong. It's okay. It's not a big deal. There's always variations. But if I feel it's important, I will then have the opportunity to correct myself and learn it in a different way. And then the next step is to, again, record something. Try to record something without the sheet music. And then the next step after that is to learn the chords. You have not learned a fiddle tune thoroughly until you have learned the tune, the melody, as well as the chords. So the chords on this one are pretty easy. It's just A for 3 measures, and then a D, and then an E, and back to A. And it's a little bit more challenging in the B part. So you got that's all A, and then you have a half a measure of D, and then a half a measure of A, and then a half a measure of E, and a half a measure of D, and then a whole measure of E, and then A to end up. You can look at the sheet music, but you have more changes in the B part. Like I said, the B parts are usually a little more challenging and difficult. The last step is then an artistic one. You've learned the tune. You've learned a basic version. You can go out into the world and play it. Is it exactly the way the sheet music is written? Is it exactly the way the original recording or whatever recording you learned from is played? Who knows? But the cool thing is, style is the place between how our heroes played it and how we play it. We're never going to ever play a tune or a song exactly the way our heroes played. It's always going to sound different. It's always going to sound like us. So that gap, that's your style. And you might as well enjoy it. You might as well accept it. That's my real, well, I guess I won't say quick. It's 15 minutes in here. But that's my down and dirty process for how I learn a fiddle tune from sheet music. and I will try to make some time here in the next week or two to talk about how I learn a fiddle tune by ear. Okay, thanks a lot for listening. Talk to you later.